I'm Kate McKenna. I've had the real honor and privilege of hosting the NSL on TSN broadcast this season. I'm so happy to be with you today, and I'm also so pleased to be joined by these two extraordinarily talented coaches whose teams will compete in the first ever NSL Final. So please join me in welcoming Marko Milanovic of AFC Toronto and Enya Heiner-Muller of the Vancouver Rise. And things have started really beautifully because just off the stage, Marko said he hoped Enya's flights were delayed, hoped they didn't get a lot of sleep. So we're off to a great start. I want to start by asking you both about the history and the significance of being in this match. There will never be another inaugural NSL Final. And I'll start with you, Enya. How much do you think about the significance of being part of this?
It's huge. I think we all have been looking for this league to start up since the beginning when they started planning all this, we started the league with the first game at BC Place, and that was huge for us and for Vancouver and Canada in general. So we know this is a historic event, and we're just really proud to be here.
We're making history here. It's history of women's soccer, women's sports in Canada. We're so excited to be in the final. Vancouver got a chance to play in the first game also, and they got a chance to play in the last, so that's really special for them. But we're excited. It's in our city, and I would hope that the game is today, but we have to wait 2 more days.
I'm curious about coaching in a match this big, and Enya, we've talked about this on some of the calls earlier this season about knowing as a coach when you need to get your players up versus when you need to settle them down. So how do you go into this match trying to ensure that your players aren't overwhelmed by the magnitude of it?
I think we're lucky, so we're all teams are new and players are new in this league, so we actually don't know how they react when they go into the bigger games. But I'm happy to see that in the opener and in the semifinals, especially the last one, the players were stepping up. They enjoy these games, so yeah, when it's snowing outside, it's cold, and in January, maybe it's harder to get them up there, but right now, it's just, lean back and enjoy the ride right now.
We try to have the same approach for all of our games, and that approach hopefully allows the players to be at a similar level when it comes to nerves, and for them to allow to prepare in a similar way. That's the goal. Obviously, this final will have different kind of an emotion for them because it is a final, but we try to make it as consistent as possible throughout the year, starting with preseason, and try to make those smaller games feel bigger and the bigger games feel a little bit smaller, just so they're ready to go and there's not too many nerves. We felt them at the BMO in the first game, but we're so lucky that we had the 2 experiences playing at that stadium that is going to help us quite a bit now.
It was a risk for you to be involved in this league, for the players to be involved, because it was an unknown entity. No one knew what to expect. And Marko, I'll start with you on this one. Now that you have almost an entire season under your belt, how did the reality compare to what you thought it might be?
I said it multiple times. This league really exceeded my expectations by a mile, I would say. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't even sure whether to take the job or not at first, to be honest with you. But I'm so glad I did. Every stadium we played in, we've had amazing crowds, including Vancouver at the Swangard, such a nice place to play. Our fans have been incredible. The level of soccer has been also, I think, much higher than people expected. We have national team players. We have potentially African Player of the Year on our team. Hopefully she wins it in a couple of days. So I think it definitely exceeded my expectations. I'm not sure about Diana. I know she's very ambitious, but they did such an amazing job with the league, and I think it had so much potential to grow as well.
I'm kind of the opposite. I was waiting for this league to come to Canada, and I wanted to be in it. Mm-hmm. I pushed to be in it, and since the beginning, like the planning for the 3 years, just been watching from Denmark as well to see it get built. And I mean, if you waited that long to build a league, I think you also know that this will be great when it starts up. And being here in Canada for the first time, back in 2017 and 3 years going on from there, I just knew that this country was ready to have this league. and how much people here enjoy women's soccer and sports in general. So yeah, I had high expectations, and like you said, Margot, good football being played here, and also all the clubs and the fans as well. It has just been amazing to visit all the great cities and the stadiums with their fans.
Yeah, and Vancouver, a good contingent who've traveled in for this. I know you can both speak at length about the talent on your respective teams, but right now I want to put you on the spot and ask you to name a player on your opponent's team in the final who really impresses you. Marco?
Can I name a few?
Sure.
I mean, Vancouver has so many attacking threats. I think that's probably the best part of their team. When you look at, call it the front four now that they've put together, with Paczerski on one side, Holly on the other, and with Latifa and Jess up top. I think that's those four can create problems for anyone in the league. They have certainly against us as well. They've played great in the semifinals, so I would say that part, you know, along with the very experienced midfielder they have with Sam and Quinn, very, very talented team.
Anya?
Yeah, well, it's a top team of the regular season here, so you could name the whole team. And yeah, so, but again, I'm very impressed about Hunter. Seeing a forward having that mindset of doing and timing the blindside runs, I think that's something that you work on for usually a long time with players to get that instinct. She is so young and so talented that she has that in her. But again, lots of good players in Toronto as well. Yeah, but I think having a young player deciding to start her career here in Canada and continue being here, credit to Toronto as well, doing so well. So we have young players that want to stay and be successful. I think that's huge for the league as well in Canada.
Marco, do you ever forget how young Kaylee Hunter is? Sometimes on the call I have to be like, she's 17.
I mean, when she tells me she has to go to finish her homework, she reminds me. But she obviously can't have a drink with us when we celebrate. So there are times, yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I went back to some of our earliest broadcast calls, and specifically the first call I had with both of each of you, when you didn't know what to expect. None of us did. And you talked about the identities that you hoped your teams would have. And it was interesting for me to go back to that, and I'd love for you to comment on if in fact you feel you've accomplished that. I would say you have, but I'd love to hear from you. We'll start with you, Anya. Yours was courage. You said you wanted courage on the ball and courage to make a difference. Do you feel that's been accomplished?
Definitely, and I actually felt that we had that from the beginning. We tried to scout players that wanted to be on the ball, and I know when the players get the ball and a Swangard, and I can hear the crowd just go crazy before they even do anything, then you know what they're expecting and what they've shown so far. So yeah, we want to be on the ball and have the courage to create something from there. So yeah, happy about that.
And Marco, and you said this word about 5 times in the call. I did a Control F to see just how many times, and it was the word entertaining. You said you wanted your team to play an entertaining brand of soccer. Mission accomplished?
I don't know. I mean, you have to ask the fans, I guess, about that one. But I think we scored some incredible goals. You know, I was joking earlier in the season that we haven't scored an ugly goal, you know, and we would love to score some ugly goals. I think we have a few now, but most of our goals have been top. Kaylee's goal in Montreal. I don't know how that didn't win the goal of the season, by the way. Whoever voted, shame on you. But we try to be entertaining because the game is for the fans. We talk about speeding the game up and make it entertaining for a casual fan to watch. So hopefully we succeeded, but I think we have work to do for next year as well.
Both of your teams feature players who've been called in to the Canadian women's national team, the senior team. And I'm wondering whether you see part of your role as the head coaches of your respective teams as being part of creating that pipeline of talent in this country. And Marco, we'll start with you.
Yeah, we spoke about that from the beginning. Our collective goals are just as important as our players' individual goals. Nothing makes me happier than seeing our players succeed individually. I'm sure Anya is the same way. what Holly did with Canada this year, and what Kaylee and obviously Emma and Esther C have done for us, and I think there's a few more on our team. There's a few more in the league that could get a serious look, but it's definitely a responsibility that we have to make Canadian soccer better, to make that pool larger, and to make it a little bit easier for Casey to improve her team and improve our team.
Yeah, the individual goals for us are also important. But also for the league to have players that come in and have a showcase, if you say that, in their home country. I think that's important for the league as well. So I'm very proud that we have created those players here, and they had a scene here to expose themselves and their teammates as well. I know, like every player in Canada, they want to play for their country, and also our international players as well. And they leave and they come back with extra energy and confidence. So it's good for all of us to have the international players playing at the national teams.
Now you've played each other 5 times this season. Is it possible to dive deeper into that bag of tricks and pull out something new for this final? Anya, can you do that when you've played each other 5 times?
I think you want a yes here. I can hear that. I do think we are here in this final because we believe in the way we do things. And the things we do well, we want to beat Toronto with that, and I'm sure they want to do the same thing. So that's the game plan. There you go, Marco.
Very detailed.
Well, if you're screaming losing, I can let you win. That's okay. But as long as we win when we play Saturday, I'm good.
I want to ask you about your fan bases, because both of your clubs have extraordinarily strong fan bases. We see it here tonight. We've seen it all season long. We've heard it on the broadcast. We've seen fans out shoveling snow. Can you both speak about how the dedication of the fans has impacted your team culture? And Anya, we'll start with you.
Well, when we started the season, I also spoke about that the fans now can create the fan base they want. They can build from great values from the beginning because they set that direction. And I'm just proud to, again, visit all the stadiums in this league and hearing the crowds out there, but especially from Vancouver's side, I feel like they're with us, with the style of play. And again, we talked about courage and the entertainment as well as you talked about, Marco. We feel that out there and that support. And again, having fans traveling with us with these long travels here in Canada, that's just amazing.
This game is played for the fans. We always have that in the back of our minds. Like you said, they helped us clear the snow the other day. I mean, I think that says enough. We see so many kids at stadiums. For me, that's my favorite, when I see so many little girls watching the game, and boys, because I think our players have such a big opportunity here to inspire, which is much bigger than the actual product on the field, I think, at times.
Well, let's turn it over to you now.
Hi, Marco, Anya, Shireen Ahmed, CBC Sports. Anya, my question's for you, actually. The tone of both your semifinals ended differently. Are you using, Marco, yours was a certain win, and Anya, yours was a very thrilling, decided, nerve-wracking finish. Are you going to use that momentum, or, as Kate mentioned, kind of take the tone down and recenter and restart?
Well, I think you don't hope for snow for a Saturday, but for our game, that resilience to have those comebacks during the regular time game and then playing the extra time and going into penalties, actually being out and then coming back, that's also those experiences you want to build on top of and bring into a really important game like this. So that, of course, that gives the team the belief that no matter what happens, we can come back. And we also played 2 games against Toronto with 1 player less, so I think we tried pretty many things in this regular season going into the final.
Neil Davidson, the Canadian Press. Marco, my question is for you. Your team has kept winning despite a rash of injuries. What's the injured list like going into the championship game?
Doesn't look much better than the semifinal. The players that were not available are still not available. Kayla Hansen could potentially give us a few minutes, but she's not 100% either. So it's a bit of a makeshift backline, as you saw in the semifinal, but they're getting more comfortable. That's the good news. And we did everything we could in the last 3 weeks to make them look like a solid backline, even though we have a midfielder in there as well.
Hi, Marina Shalabi for BMO NSL Next Gen. My question is, was there a key turning point throughout your season that you thought the players bought into the philosophy of how you guys wanted to play to come to the final this Saturday?
Actually, yes. I do think our game just before the summer break against Montreal, that's where things changed a little for us. I think we found ourselves in more of the style of play that we wanted, and also had some good scoring chances and did execute on those as well. And from there, I think we've been just improving from there.
For us, I don't know if there was a specific game where players bought in more, but there was definitely a game where I thought was important for us. It was actually the 4-0 loss at home to Ottawa, where I thought some of the things, came up that we didn't even know about, some of the problems we've had earlier in the season. And I really thought that loss was so good for us. And if it wasn't 4-0, maybe if we had lost 1-0 or 2-1, maybe it wouldn't have done the same. And ever since then, it would have been a completely different squad. And obviously in the last 8-9 games, I don't think we've lost. I think our last loss was to you guys, I think, at BMO. So yeah, we've been great after that.
Morning, Jermaine, Fan First Network. Congratulations to both of you making the final. I got one question for both and then one for Marco after. For next season, is there one thing, whether it's a rule change or an updated process to the league that you'd want implemented for next season?
You've stunned them.
That's a really good question because the hits are just on Saturday. I don't know, actually. I will pass. That's a really good question.
I think we got to look at the schedule a little closer. That's one thing that maybe needs to be looked at a little closer. Obviously, availability with the stadiums and the fact that not all clubs own their stadiums makes it challenging, especially when you look at international breaks and coming back from international breaks. We've had, I think, a situation where a team had to play on a Thursday night after an international break. So I would say that would be the main thing for next year.
And for Marco, I'm curious, as a man in your role, have you felt any personal, extra responsibility or just put anything extra on yourself to kind of, be, because, again, you're a male coach in a women's league, first league in Canada. So have you felt any extra responsibility for yourself?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think I have. I put a lot of pressure on myself, to be good every single day, to have a positive influence on everyone that I interact with, especially my players and my staff. That's not different. That wouldn't be different if I was in another line of work. So I wouldn't say there's an additional pressure. Obviously, it's a bit of a bigger stage, but I would say my mentality is the same.
Thanks.
Daniel Carrero for Intermission Sports, and my question goes to Marco. Obviously, this would be the third time you visit BMO, and you're yet to win at that stadium. And the last game you lost 1-0 against Vancouver. What's different now? What's the feeling like in the team, and what's the approach right now?
Yeah, that's one stadium where we haven't won in this year. We lost both times. We lost 1-0 both times. We hit the woodwork, I think, 6 or 7 times in those 2 games. I think we created enough chances to score 3-4 goals in those 2 games, not in each game, but definitely total. So I feel, we really wanted to come back to BMO. When we lost to Vancouver 1-0 in that game, that was all we talked about, and we really wanted to get to the final, to have a chance to win at this stadium in our city. We're so lucky to have that, and hopefully we can score this time and get the win.
And for Anya, kind of in the same wavelength, obviously you've won in that stadium, you've done it before. Is that the message for the players? Can you tell the players we've done this already?
Oh, we just enjoy coming here and playing this final. Playing it at BMO, it sounds like a lot of fans will come in and see the game. That's a huge privilege for us. But of course, we go in to win this game. And yeah, we won last time we were there. That was also a crazy game. And I think we put up good games against each other here. So yeah, just looking forward to that game and going into that game with the biggest confidence we can hit that game with.
Hi, Tanya Fader from the Crow Collective. Anya, just wondering what's the main messaging that you're giving to the team, the players, ahead of the most important game so far in the league?
Enjoy. Really enjoy. This is the biggest event for a female soccer player in Canada here, playing national, playing this final. To be in a place where you can enjoy this and set your talents free and embrace all of that. Also, like the penalties we played last time, if you can embrace that, because that's a huge moment. And being there mentally as well. And that's the thing. Of course, we go in, we want to win that game, but to win it, we also want our shoulders down and have the focus exactly where we want it.
Hi there, Chantal with the Sports Sisterhood. Thank you both so much for being here. Because of this league, there are so many young girls within the Canadian soccer system who now want to pursue a professional career within their own home country. What suggestions do you have for anybody who's looking to stay in Canada to play pro soccer and who may one day want to join your teams?
Marco, why don't we start with you?
Sure. Like I said, that's probably my favorite part, or has been my favorite part, coming to the stadium, seeing how many kids watch games regularly, not just at our stadium, but also when we play it away. For any players that want to, play professional soccer or want to get to that level, I think passion is the number one thing. We mentioned Kaylee Hunter as one of the examples here. That girl is soccer all the time. She breathes, she lives soccer. She will come. I saw her watch a CPL game on her own earlier in the summer. We watched Europa League the other day together. I think that's a prerequisite. That's number one. If you really love something that much, you have a chance. And then obviously you have to put in the work. You have to be disciplined on and off the field. We're lucky to have someone like Emma Regan on our squad, who's only 25, but who takes care of her body so well, does everything off the field that a player would need to be able to perform at that level consistently. And I mean, she's played every minute this year, and she's such a good example to some of our younger players, some of the players that came in from NDC to train with us, that we're fortunate to have those examples. But going back to your question, I think passion is number one. And if you can add a little bit of discipline and mentality to that, you have a chance.
Yeah, I would put two words to it, and maybe that connects in passion, dedication, but still enjoying what you're doing. So we know these players need to keep their motivation high throughout the whole thing. So enjoy what you're doing and just work really, really hard.
Hi, I'm Angeline Permels, also from the Sports Sisterhood. And my question was, what do you think sets you different from other head coaches in the league? What makes you better, for a lack of a better term? What do you think makes your players respect you and makes you just stand out from other coaches?
How do you command respect from your players, I think is a good way to take that. Anya, go for it.
That's a question for the players, for sure. It's a really good question. I know how I want to approach the role, and I want to see not just the player, but the human being as well. So we try to create an environment where we can learn every single day, and for that we need to have a safe environment for everyone to learn and speak up. So that's the most important thing for me.
Very much on the same page here with Anya. I think it's not a question for us. It's a question for the players. I would never try to build my authority, through my position, but hopefully it's something that will come through because they know that I care, and hopefully they can then appreciate what I'm trying to teach them. But it's definitely a question for the players.
That is all the time we have. Signa, you're okay? All right, you're going to see these people again, Signa, the voice of the NSL. That's all the time we have. Thank you for coming. Marco and Enya, thank you for taking the time. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
And I hope you will all stick around because coming up right now, the NSL Spotlight presentation with NSL President Christina Litz and the NSL's co-founder and Chief Growth Officer Diana Matheson. So please stick around. Thank you.
Thank you.